Walking Dead Season 8, Episode 7, Time for After. Now, this episode I thought was going to be a little bit more intense than it was. It was definitely kind of slow-paced. For most of the episode, really, I think it was really only the last, maybe, as far as, like, not counting commercials, it was probably only, like, the last 10 to 12 minutes of the actual episode had action in it. And even then, it was only, like, maybe 3 or 4 minutes of those last 12 that were actually action. But it was still a decent episode. I was interested in seeing how far things were going to go. Unfortunately, they didn't really go that far in this episode because I thought for sure with the whole deal of, what's going to happen inside, the building with, this big secret going around. It's like, all right, we have Dwight and we have Eugene. Is Eugene going to tell? Is he not going to tell? And then, of course, right on the outside that which none of the Saviors realize, we have Daryl, basically Daryl and Tara, as well as Morgan. He kind of joins it as well. They're like the three characters leading the charge. Like, we definitely need to get this done right now. Like, we want the Saviors killed. The innocent people, the ones who are like forced to work and everything. Sure, they'll get out the back door, something like that. Though you're kind of just like, should be cool. They should make it work. But going through, it took a minute before it got to that point, because that's what I thought the episode was really going to focus on was, at least at the halfway point is when I thought they would do it, not like really towards the end of the episode. But going through, it was like, all right, what is going to happen? It was definitely a Eugene-focused episode, which I certainly did appreciate, because it was a side of his character we hadn't seen before, where he's finally dealing with the fact that he's always just like, it's me. I gotta save myself, and he's actually fighting that at this point. Like, he's actually forced to deal with it in this episode, where he's struggling between, as he says, they're former traveling companions with Father Gabriel and then everybody else, but he's fighting with that, considering he knows the truth, because he could easily say, which he was about to say it, and then of course Dwight shows up in the room with the other lieutenants, and then he switches from, Dwight is our traitor, to I can fix the communications, and that's pretty much it. So it is oddly interesting to watch Eugene have to deal with these emotions, because it's not something that we've seen from his character. So I actually enjoy it. It's him just struggling with whether or not to be, on the side of good for the actual good characters, or be on the side of good even though he's working under Negan. Because his whole thing throughout the episode, admittedly, is very noble. It is to help the people that aren't super crappy like Negan, but at the same time, he would be, he would be helping save Negan and the rest of the people that truly, follow behind him. So he's in this weird kind of in-between spot where it's like, do I choose to be good, do I choose the greater good, or do I choose the immediate good? Which there's still elements of it where even though he's fighting to save the people that are currently in the building, like the more innocent people who aren't, using the guns and stuff, there is still that idea that he's following behind Negan. Like, he chose to do that to begin with, and it's interesting. So I am excited to see where that goes in the next episode, but, I was like, alright, watching that was pretty entertaining. And then, of course, we had, like, the little storyline with Rick, which ultimately kind of cultivated in, like, the ending, where it's like, oh, this should probably, be a disaster, I'm sure. But he has his moment where he's locked up in the cargo hold, and then they, do the drawing of him and take pictures, and then they bring out like their, Spike Zombie 2.0, although it wasn't as cool or dangerous as the last one, because the spikes really only went straight down. So I was like, well, unless he does this, it's not gonna, like, the spikes really didn't do anything there. But ultimately, Rick does his thing where he's like, well, I'm not gonna die because I'm the main character. So he beats everybody up, and he takes the head off of the walker and, puts it on the ground, and then he grabs Jadis and puts her on the ground right next to the head. And it's like, alright, so here's how this will play out. I'm going to leave. If I leave and you decide not to join me before I leave, we will attack you. Might not be today, but we're going to attack you. So, maybe you guys should just run. He was even telling them, like, we're going to come after you, so you maybe just leave. I don't know what to tell you, but we're going to come to try to kill you all if you let me leave out of here and you don't join in. So, ultimately, they decide to join in. Once again, Jadis does a terrible negotiation. She's like, we'll take half, and Rick says the fourth thing, and she tries to do the sculpting and tries to get him to, take his pants off and stuff. It's like, no sculpting, give me my clothes, and you'll take a fourth. And she's like, okay, it's like she's terrible at negotiations. She just, no balance for her. But ultimately, they do live, so in that regard, it was a pretty good deal, because definitely Rick would have come back, or even if they killed Rick there, the group would have come back and killed them all anyway. Like, all right, yeah, I guess we'll team up with you. And of course, he was super happy because it's like, all right, we got more numbers again. You guys come with us. We'll just head over to the sanctuary. No big deal. We'll get there. Rest of the team will meet up. We'll tell the lieutenants to give up and everything, and then I'll kill Negan myself. So it's just like, oh, he's really hoping that plan goes through. But of course, we have Daryl and Tara. Mostly, yeah. Well, I guess it was both of them, really. They were kind of just pushing in. Like I said, once they got there, Morgan was like, yeah, I definitely want this done too. But Rosita and Michonne decide that they're gonna, kind of bow out of the situation because they think that Rosita's the first one, which really shocked me, where she was like, and she talks about how she learned to wait because it was like, I wish it didn't take Sasha coming out of that, that casket to make me realize sometimes you just gotta wait for the good things to happen because them kind of rushing in is kind of how that ended up, the situation ended up like it was. So I was like, wow, that's very interesting. A little bit of development for Rosita's character, but she was the first one to bow out. She was like, I don't know about this, but I do believe in Rick. And then, Michonne decides to stick with it for a minute, and then once it's, it's her turn to get out of the truck with Tara, it's like, I don't know. I just don't think I can, once again, like, we don't know what's going to come of this. Like, something, it's good right now, but this is risky, and I think we should just wait for, more good. So she decides to bow out, and they continue on with their, basically, their little ambush. Daryl drives the truck in, puts the brake on, hops out, the cinder block, hops out, lets the truck slam in, and it seems like it works. A bunch of zombies flood in. Unfortunately, they got a buttload of guns, buttload of bullets, and that's what that's what Negan and Eugene were actually talking about, where he's like, they kind of jump to like the middle of the conversation. It's like, that's going to take a hell of a lot of bullets. It's like, yep, it will. But that's what they were doing. That scene with Eugene, like freaking out because he doesn't know which side to choose, and all that gunfire was them using up all, every bit of ammo. Where it's like, look, we take them out and survive. Just make sure you get either me to my machines or my machines to me. I'll replenish all those bullets, no problem. But we do need to survive. And it was probably, they skipped over a bit, but I think a part of that was him making sure that all those people got saved, because that was like his big thing throughout the episode. At least that's what he was saying was his big thing, is that he wanted to save all those people. And they even bring back the chance that he had when the woman, one of Negan's wives comes in, and it's like, she talks about him drinking the wine. It's like, I understand that you need that in order to sleep, but remember, we came to you. You had the opportunity to help us, kill him and change everything that we have, and you decided not to. So I hope this helps, but it won't. And it was just like, yeah, that's where he's at right now. He's finally, for once, I think, truly dealing with the consequences. Because him lying to begin with in the series, that got him knocked out. But that was nothing. It was like, you suck as a person, but ultimately that was pretty much it. This is like, people have died here and there, and he went, they had like the flashbacks of him going to Sasha's coffin and, seeing the music and stuff, even though that ultimately led to him still choosing to put the music on it and stuff. But he's dealing with a bunch of stuff in this episode. So they did a good job with him. Rick's storyline and them popping up at the end. One of the snipers is being eaten while his gun's still on his back. He's being eaten by zombies. So Rick climbs up, just empty, and they show the face where he's just freaked out, like there's no zombies down there. Like the plan has failed. So he's probably gonna be pissed. Who knows? I mean, next week is the mid-season finale, the 90-minute mid-season finale. So definitely excited for how crazy that's supposed to be. They talk about how it's gonna be like this some big moment. So I'm looking forward to that. I don't know what that means. I'm assuming, with this season being what it is, someone has to die. A main character, like somebody important, has to die. And I think I already know that guaranteed, at least for the finale, because of this scene where they show like that crazy stuff with like old Rick. I talked about that, a few episodes back, or I think in that episode during the premiere. It was like, okay, I know some stuff is going to happen. Or it might, considering it's not like the comics, it could be totally different if they wanted it to be. But I assume some stuff has to happen. Like, that's after the final part of the war. And, of course, we're going into the mid-season finale. So, either someone's dying in the mid-season finale, which, that's like the only thing I can really think of that would be a big moment. And not Father Gabriel. He's okay, but he is not, like, a main character. It has to be someone that is either super cool or has been there from the beginning. Like, one of those characters has to get killed off. Like, well, it's only, 2 out of 3 of the leaders are original characters. Or, well, Maggie, from season 2. But you know, they have to kill off someone that's really, really important, or, you know, like, if even if they just came in, they're like super cool or something. Like, I would care more if I think the guy's name is Bob, the big dude with the axe. I'd care more if he died than Gabriel. If I'm being totally honest, I like his character more. Like, Gabriel was like, oh, yeah, he's infected. You know, I just don't care about him. I gotta be honest. So, um, somebody's got to die for it to be like a huge moment. So we'll just ultimately have to wait and see what happens. But I am looking forward to it. This, you know, like I said, this episode was oddly slow. I felt going into the mid-season finale, especially because, you know, I thought they were gonna do the failed attack and everything, like, at least like halfway through, and it was like, you know, like I said, not until the very end, and even that wasn't as chaotic as I thought. They kind of got through that super fast. It was like, all right, let's just use up all the bullets and, you know, just mow them all down, and that was pretty much it. And it was like, oh, that wasn't nearly as insane as I thought it was going to be. They crashed the truck, you know, the good guys took off right after. The one dude died, you know, the one sniper that Rick found, and that was pretty much it. Like, nothing really happened during that. So definitely a lot slower pace than I expected it to be. But I still didn't hate the episode because of that. It was just like, oh, I was kind of hoping for more excitement, especially going into the mid-season finale. I thought it would be really crazy, and then, you know, the mid-season finale would just, you know, take it straight to the top. It would be even more insane. So that's kind of what I was looking for. But it was still a good episode even with what we got. And of course, we're going into the mid-season finale. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. But of course, I want to know what you guys thought about this episode. So please comment below. Let me know your favorite parts about it, your least favorite parts about it. And naturally, I want to know your theories for the main, or I don't know why I said main, but the mid-season finale. Your theories for it, what you just want to see in general for the mid-season finale. With them saying it's supposed to be this big moment, I saw like a little bit of the beginning of Talking Dead today. And they said, like, you know, it really is supposed to be like this crazy huge moment. So my guess would be that someone's going to die. If that's not the case, I don't know what in the world they could possibly do that would be that epic, but something's going to happen. I don't know if, oh man, it's hard to say. I don't know if this mid-season finale could possibly top last year's mid-season premiere when everyone was just getting killed in Alexandria. I know that caught a lot of people off guard. I knew that was going to happen. That's why I was like, you know, that last year's mid-season finale was like, meh, but I was like, with the way that ended, having read the comics, I was like, man, it's going to be crazy when it comes back. So, depending on how this year kind of ends out, I'll probably know where we're headed, but I assume it's going to get nuts. I think we are headed towards the scene that they showed in the premiere where Rick is sitting by the tree and he's like crying by himself. I think that's where we're headed, because that was my theory for it, because they had present day Rick, which was him talking with everybody before they start the war. They had Rick at the very end of the season where he's like kind of older, he's got the beard and everything with the cane, and then there was that mysterious little part where it was just Rick by a tree crying, and I was like, that has to be in the middle of the season. That has to be either the finale or the mid-season premiere in 2018. So I'm like, it's got to be one of those, because that's just how you do it. It's like, we have present day Rick, which is the beginning. We have old Rick, which is the end. And then mysterious, you know, tree crying Rick, that has to be right in the middle. So I feel like with that scene, a lot of people died. I don't know if they're all going to be important. I highly doubt they'll all be important. But a lot of people got to go for him to get to that point. Either one important person has to go, or just a ton of people get wiped out. Even if they're a bunch of lesser characters, that builds up over time. So something crazy's got to happen. And that's my theory, is that somebody's going to die. But who knows who it's going to be. But I would love to know your theories on it. Who you want to see die, I guess. If you have someone you just want to see killed off, as far as characters you just don't give a crap about, heroes or villains. We'd love to know what your theories are for the mid-season finale. And like I said, I definitely want to know what you guys thought about this episode in general. So please comment below, let me know. And thanks for watching.